Good morning, it's Lissy. It is July 10th, Tuesday morning, just a little after 7. Something is weird on my screen display here, so I can't totally see myself, and I don't know how to get rid of it. But anyway, yesterday was an eventful day, and not eventful in a good way. I don't know. I'm going to say all this now, and whether or not it makes it into a video remains to be seen. But I had gone last week for a mammogram, just my routine mammogram, and I got the call that they needed me to come back so they could take more images, which has happened to me before, so I wasn't really all that worked up about it. And so I went yesterday for the more images. So they did the mammogram, and then they do an ultrasound, and like when they call you back the second time, they don't make you wait for the results, so, which is good. So when she was doing the ultrasound, I could just tell she was focusing on an area, and I was like, this doesn't seem, I don't know, I had a feeling. And then she left to go show the, ultrasound pictures to the radiologist, and then she came back and she's like, I need to do some more. And I was like, she made it seem like she just didn't take good enough ones, but I'm like, this does not seem good. And so then, she took more, she goes to the radiologist, she comes back, she gets me, she's like, okay, you can go, the radiologist will tell you your results now. And so I have 2 little lumps in my left breast that were not there on my last mammogram, which is concerning anytime you have something new like that. So I have to go for a biopsy today. So I'm a little out of whack as a result. I flipped out. And here's the thing. So they tell you this. I'm by myself, obviously. I don't usually, take a cast of characters with me just for what I think is a routine thing. And she's like, okay, you can go out, to the front to schedule the biopsy. She explained more than that to me, but this is the Cliff's Notes version. So I go to the front desk, I'm in tears. There are 2 girls behind there, don't really realize I'm there, so I have to choke out that, can they help me schedule my biopsy? And they're like, someone will come get you to schedule it, but here, fill out this piece of paper. So I take the paper on the clipboard, I go sit in the waiting area. I'm still crying. So now I'm sitting in the waiting area crying, having people look at me. I'm sure this must happen. At a place like this, I thought to myself, how many times a day do people get bad news? Anyway, so I take it back up. I can't even see the page. I've got all this, these tears, my eyes are not focusing. So I take it back up. I'm like, do you think we could do this verbally? I can't even fill this out right now. So they say, fine. I go wait back in the waiting area. This really nice lady in the waiting area clearly had sympathy for me. She came over, gave me, they have little bottles of water in the waiting room. She handed me a bottle of water. She sat down next to me. She started to just chat to me. It was really nice. Anyway, so I scheduled the biopsy. I'm going today at 1:30. I ended up going over to my brother's last night. My sister came over. So that was a good distraction. So then I get home last night. It's 11 or 11:30 by the time I get home last night. And I get out of my Uber, and there's some guy literally lying down on the sidewalk in front of my building, passed out. I think one of his friends must have been there. I don't know what he was doing. And then some woman, I don't know. Anyway, there was another woman there. I don't think she had anything to do with them. And she was saying to the friend of the guy laying on the sidewalk, should we call, an ambulance or anything? I'm like, I'm calling 911. I'm not having, there's a guy lying on the sidewalk. Something is not right here. Passed out. So anyway, I called 911. I think they were going to send an ambulance. He did actually, just as I was finishing up the call, he got up. He couldn't really, he must have just been drunk. And he couldn't really steady himself. His friend was kind of trying to help him. So who knows what happened. I came up and went to bed. I did a check for a mat to make sure there were no mice in here, and then I went to bed. Anyway, so that was my day yesterday. It was not a good one. It's good though, I got my cry out because I'm able to say all this without crying. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to work this morning. I need to leave by 1 to go to the biopsy at 1:30. And then, since I'll be done, you know, I mean, they said it'll take, I think my biopsy is really at 2. She told me come at 1:30. They might be able to take me earlier. I'll get results hopefully by the end of this week. She said like 3 to 4 days, but I'm hoping it's 3 days, and I'm hoping I'll know before the weekend. But anyway, since I'll be done early, I'm not going to go back to work, but I need a manicure and pedicure. Look at these daggers. I know I'm being crazy, but like, this is really long for me. Like, if my nails are longer than my fingers, and they are, like I can tap, 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 tap. So I'm going to try to go today and get a manicure and pedicure. Yeah, so that's my story. Was there anything else? No, I think that's it. So I'm going to go to work. I want to get in, you know, at a decent time since I have to leave so early. I mean, I left early yesterday, but yesterday I didn't have to leave till like 2:30, 2:45. Today I have to leave a little earlier. But so the get up is, it's going to be really hot today. So I'm just wearing a t-shirt. This is an Isabel Marant skirt, my hideous boot. And this is another new pair of sneakers, just Adidas sneakers, since I clearly need to be wearing more sneakers. I love these Hermes bracelets that I've been wearing. And I'm wearing my Celine initial necklace. And I'm just carrying this because if I do go get a pedicure, I wanted to have flip-flops to walk home in. Yeah, so wish me luck. So, it is Friday, July 13th. Good morning. I have some news. I've actually been very stoic the last few days. I've only had one good cry, and I could use probably another. Hopefully it's not right now, though. This wouldn't be the ideal time. But anyway, I think I mentioned that I had to go in for a biopsy, which I did on Tuesday. And you know, once I told a few people that I had to, I was really nervous about it. Once I told a few people about it, I started to feel a little better because apparently it's very common for people to have to undergo biopsies and it end up being nothing. So I went in for the biopsy Tuesday, and you know, they told me it would take 3 to 4 days for the results. So I was just hoping I would at least know by the end of the week, because that would have been either today, Friday, or Monday. But they called me Wednesday. And I think they knew from the scans, because I just feel like they must have rushed the results through. So the long and the short of it is I have breast cancer. There, I said it. Yeah. It's not the result I was expecting. So they found 2 masses in my left breast. And don't be alarmed by the word masses. That's apparently a word that is used. But to me, the word mass applies a large, you know, something large. And I think they were both small. I get regular mammograms. I have had a few ultrasounds. But on my routine mammogram, they saw something, they called me back. They saw they called me back, they did another mammogram and an ultrasound, and, I had a biopsy, and here we are. So they don't think it's spread. They don't think it's in the lymph nodes, like they think it's localized, which will be good news. But I have an appointment next week with a cancer, a surgeon at Mount Sinai. And actually, you guys, anybody that's been around the block with me knows that Alicia, who's one of my best friends and lives in Boston, is a breast cancer survivor. And so over the years, through her, I've been very involved in the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. So because of that, I was lucky that I pinged them and I said, you know, who should I go to? And the president of the BCRF wrote back like right away. It was so nice of her, and said she had already contacted this doctor. The doctor said, tell me to call the first thing the next morning and she would make sure her team gets me in, and she did. So I'm going Wednesday. As long as, this is the thing, so then I spent half the morning yesterday trying to get the folks at, so Mount Sinai is not the hospital. Most of my doctors are elsewhere. And so all the tests and labs and everything are at my other doctors. So you have to figure out how to get all those, you know, all those scans, and like literally they want the pathology slides. So, you know, so my new doctor wants to review the slides herself, which is good because it means you get a second opinion. Not that I think there's going to be a different result, but anyway. So all the stuff has to get there. And so I spent the better part of yesterday morning trying to figure out how to do that, because, you know, you're dealing with bureaucracy and you can't just call your doctor and say, do this. You have to call the medical records department, but they only send records, like paper record, you know, not paper, but like written records. Then separately, I have to call like where they do the mammograms, where they have the actual scans, so they can send discs with the scans. And then the pathology slides are somewhere else. And you know, oh no, this takes 5 to 7 days. And I'm like, no, that's not gonna work. I need it over there sooner. So I'm hoping and praying that it gets there in time so that they don't have to push my appointment out. Look, I did all this without crying. It's pretty good. So anyway, this is very unfortunate news, to say the least. Yeah, I don't know what else to say right now. So I guess I'll leave it at this. Good morning. It's Monday, July, I think it's the 16th. It's around 7:15. I'm getting ready to go to work. But I thought I would check in. I think it's better from here. Anyway, so the weekend was okay. I went to my sister's on Friday and I just spent the weekend there. One of my oldest friends, so one of my friends that I've known for, let's see, I've known her since 1996, so for over 20 years. She came by. I haven't seen her in a few years, so it was so nice to see her. You know, the thing when you have bad things happen to you, your true friends, no matter how long it's been, will show up. So anyway, it was lovely to see her. It's been a hard weekend. Hard, like emotionally and physically, honestly. And I don't know if the emotional toll is impacting me physically, but the whole weekend, my body felt as though I had done, like my whole body, my arms, my legs, like my abs, everything felt fatigued, like I had worked out, which I have not. You know, I haven't worked out in a while because the bum foot has been putting a total, you know, cramp in the workout style. And then now the last week getting the biopsy, like I couldn't even do anything upper body, which is what I had been at least trying to do. But my whole body just felt tired. So anyway, I came home yesterday, like I was home probably by like noon, and I did not leave my apartment. I literally was a lump. I mean, I organized a few things. I'm going to Kiowa on, oh, who's calling me? Okay, sorry. That was my phone. Alicia was calling to chat me up. So, anyway, I don't even remember where I was. Oh yeah, the pain in my body, but whatever. You know, whatever. It's a tough weekend. It's a tough week. But, what was I gonna say? Oh, so Wednesday I have an appointment with, you know, like a breast surgeon. And I'm really excited because I feel like the more information, the better I'll feel. And I hounded the records people at, you know, where I had all the tests done to make sure they got her everything so she has time to look at it before I get there, and they did. The patient coordinator there wrote me to say that she said we got it in record time, so thank you. I wrote her back and I said, well, I'm not messing around. I hounded them until I made sure it got here. And she wrote back and said, you're our patient of the month. I was like, great. So anyway, that's my story, and I am heading off to work. But on another note, I'm not wearing the boot today, even though I'm sure I should be. But I just, like, I have been feeling like totally crooked. So I'm gonna, for the walk to work, I'm gonna wear, not the walk, but for the commute, you know what, I'm gonna wear these like Nike, and then I'm gonna wear the Valentino sandals. And I'm wearing this Fendi bag with an Hermes scarf. But yeah, like, I feel totally out of whack because, you know, the boot is like thick at the bottom. And so if you can't match the shoe you're wearing exactly to the height of the boot, you're off kilter. And I had been fine up until like last week. And then I was like, I need a break from this boot. So I'm not wearing it today. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Good morning. It's Wednesday. I think it's July 17th. It's early. I was up before my alarm, which was actually fine. I got a really good night's sleep. But I have my doctor's appointment today. Thank God. I'll tell you, I think one of the bad things about being diagnosed with something like this and having time between knowing and actually like knowing, like I know I have breast cancer now, I just don't know how bad it is, what the treatment option, like I have no idea anything. I think the hardest time in between that, like for me, which was a week, which is really actually fast, is that, you know, the interwebs is not really your friend. So you can like try to play doctor and self-diagnose, and it's just not really productive. So it'll be good to talk to a professional today who can tell me what's really going on. So wish me luck. Yeah, I'm going to work. My appointment's at 11:30, so I'm going to work for, you know, it's like not even quite 7 yet. I'll be there probably by 7:30-ish. And then I have to leave at 11. I don't know if I'm going back yet or not. It depends how long the doctor's appointment takes and what kind of shape I'm in after. I'm gonna try, and then I'm out now because I'm going to Kiowa tomorrow. So, and I'm out. I won't be back to work till next Tuesday. So, I'll have to just try to get a few things done so I don't have to go back to work this afternoon if I'm not up for it. Yeah, that's all the news that's fit to print. I am wearing, I can't recall if this top is H&M or Zara. It's probably Zara. Gucci belt. I think these are AG jeans that I got at the outlet. My Gucci loafers. My Hermes bangles, and I'm carrying the Fendi bag that I've been carrying this week with the extra strap on it. Yeah, so this is it. This is the full getup of the day. I did also, you know, my life is a series of doctor's appointments right now. I went to see my foot doctor yesterday. So the stress fracture is still not healed. But I told him, I'm like, I can't keep wearing the boot. Like, it's gonna cause other problems. So he was like, fine. I mean, it's like way better. But this is kind of what, like, it's still a tiny bit swollen. Like, the normal eye would not think it was swollen, but to the doctor's eye, it's swollen. And I know what he's talking about, like, it's swollen. And there's still a tiny bit of tenderness, so I just really have to still stay off it, which is frustrating. But in the grand scheme of the problems in my life right now, it's nothing. So anyway, I'm wearing my Gucci loafers. I'm sure I really should wear sneakers, but I'm not going to. And that's it. I'll check back in probably after I have more information. Okay, good morning. It's July 18th. It's the crack of dawn. It's like 5:15. I have an 8 a.m. flight to Kiowa. I'm very much looking forward to sitting on the beach for a few days. It's been a rough week. Yesterday I had my first appointment with my breast surgeon. It went pretty much as I expected, and I think that's a lot because I literally read my lab reports and figured out what they meant before I even went. So what she said wasn't a surprise to me, which I think was good because I was very I wasn't emotional. Like I totally held it together the whole day. But anyway, so I have a lump in my left breast. The cancer is called triple negative breast cancer. What that means is I'm negative for these three things they check for: HER2 receptors, estrogen receptors, and progesterone receptors. And it's bad because being negative for those things means you're not receptive to certain treatments. And it means really the only treatment you are receptive to is chemo. So I also got a gene test yesterday to make sure I don't have certain mutations of genes that would make me more prone to getting future cancers. And I have to still have an MRI of both of my breasts. But assuming there's no bad news in any of those things, I'm having a lumpectomy. If there's bad news in any of those things, the decision could totally be changed and I would probably just have a mastectomy. But a mastectomy is a much, much more invasive surgery with a lot worse recovery time. So anyway, I have a lumpectomy scheduled in a few weeks. After that, I'll have to have 6 weeks of radiation every day, which isn't as bad as it sounds because while you have to go every day, it's like 5 minutes every day. It just means going out of your way every day. And at some point then after, I have to have chemo. Look at how matter of fact I am. This is what happens. I get very stoic and then eventually I'll just cry. That's fine. I'm sure there will be lots of crying this weekend on Kiowa because there will be, lots of girl chat and lots of cocktails. So it'll be good, cathartic. Anyway, that's my story. Yeah, so I think I deserve a few days laying on the beach doing nothing. Don't you?